Lieutenant Maya Voss stood in a sterile white chamber, her combat gear confiscated and catalogued by the station's security protocols. The antimatter scanner hummed to life, its blue beam tracing the constellation of scars that mapped her body like a violent star chart. Each mark told a story she'd rather forget. Subject displays irregular tissue reconstruction patterns, announced the AI scanner in its maddeningly neutral tone. Cellular regeneration inconsistent with standard medical procedures. Scanning for exotic particle residue. The security officer, a pale man named Hendricks, studied the readout with growing unease. His fingers trembled as he scrolled through the data. "Lieutenant, these scan results, they're showing quantum scarring. The kind that only occurs from exposure to." "I know what they're from," Maya interrupted, pulling her regulation jumpsuit over the worst of the marks. The fabric couldn't hide the raised tissue along her spine where reality itself had been torn and hastily stitched back together. Hendricks swallowed hard. "Ma'am, protocol requires me to ask, have you engaged in combat with a transcendent entity? A God-class being?" The question hung in the recycled air like a death sentence. Maya had known this moment would come eventually. You couldn't hide from quantum scarring forever, not when every scanner in human space was calibrated to detect it. The Transcendence War had ended 3 years ago, but its survivors wore their battles like brands. "Yes," she said simply. "Titan Station. The entity that called itself Prometheus." The security officer's face went white. Everyone knew about Titan Station. An entire research facility, home to 12,000 souls, had been consumed when humanity's first attempt at artificial godhood went catastrophically wrong. The entity they'd created had turned reality into its plaything, warping space-time and matter with casual indifference. Only 17 people had survived Titan Station. Maya was one of them. "Jesus Christ," Hendricks whispered, then caught himself. "Sorry, Lieutenant. It's just, the report said that thing could rewrite physics. That it turned people inside out through dimensions we don't even have names for." Maya's laugh was bitter as recycled oxygen. "The reports understated things. Prometheus didn't just bend reality, it treated the universe like wet clay. My squad went in with quantum-stabilized armor, thought we were prepared for anything." She touched the scar running from her left temple to her jaw. "We weren't even close." The scanner chimed again, drawing their attention to a new reading. "Warning, subject displays trace amounts of exotic matter integration. Probability matrices suggest direct exposure to non-Euclidean geometries and temporal flux events." "That's not possible," Hendricks stammered. "Exotic matter exposure is fatal. The human nervous system can't process nonlinear time." "It should have been fatal," Maya agreed. But Prometheus was playful. It wanted to see what would happen if it folded a human through 11 dimensions and then put her back together wrong. I was its favorite experiment. She could see the questions forming in Hendricks' eyes, the morbid curiosity that always followed recognition. How had she survived? What had she seen in those impossible spaces between seconds? What did it feel like to have your consciousness stretched across parallel realities? "The integration process is irreversible," the scanner announced helpfully. "Subject retains quantum entanglement with extradimensional matrices. Recommend immediate transfer to Theoretical Physics Division for study." "No," Maya said firmly. "I've got clearance. Check your priority files." Hendricks fumbled with his console, his movements jerky with barely contained panic. When the clearance came through, his relief was palpable. "You're cleared for passage, Lieutenant. Destination, Europa Research Station. Level Omega classification." As Maya collected her gear, she caught sight of her reflection in the scanner's polished surface. The scars were visible even through her clothes, a roadmap of impossible encounters etched in living tissue. She'd fought a god and lived to tell about it, but survival came with its own price. The airlock cycled open, revealing the transit corridor beyond. Somewhere ahead lay Europa Station and whatever fresh horror waited there. Maya squared her shoulders and walked forward, carrying her quantum scars like armor into an uncertain future. Behind her, the scanner continued its endless analysis, still trying to understand how human flesh could survive contact with divine mathematics.